play my race tonight. I did in the second slot for top split FIA Nations around Tokyo Express in the wet in the Peugeot VGT GR3. So let's have a look. Now I managed, with the help of Keaton, to qualify in second. Yeah, I went out and didn't really have anybody ahead of me to get a tow from, so he had a pretty good tow in on our first first flying lap, and so towards the end of that he bump drafted me to give me some extra speed throughout the last lap, which was really good of him, because he ended up finishing like 1/1000th of a second behind me. Let's see how we go here. So Riri, she qualified quite well, about 4/10 ahead of me. So we were in the 206.8s, myself and Keenan. Wild Panther did really well to get the Ford GT up there. As you can see, there was a lot of Peugeot VGTs. Seemed probably a little bit more difficult to handle over the Ford. However, it just had the straight line speed. Like when you're in a tow, it could actually pretty much pull away from the Ford GT. So this was an impromptu race for me. I had done probably 10 to 15 practice laps in the practice room of time trial. Managed to get down to a top 5 time, and then I was watching someone else's stream for the first race and just decided I'll give it a crack. Now we did a bit of fuel burning just to try and lighten the fuel load a little bit, because we didn't have to save anything for this. It was just an all-out 11-lap sprint. You really need to work together around this sort of track. It's too difficult to pull away and get a bit of a gap. As you can see, you'll see this a little bit later on in the race, where first place manages to get actually quite a large gap, 3.5 to 4 seconds, but because the cars behind together and can work well, we'll basically end up catching back up. There was a lot of stuff going on back here. Tankmaster completely took out Revo Kizza. I'll go back and show you this. We'll go on board with Tankmaster. For no reason, it really made no sense to do this. He just hits him, spins him out. Not the first time Tankmaster's done that. He does seem to lack a bit of racecraft, to be honest. Last few rounds I've seen him in, he's had nothing but trouble with cars around him. You can see how many people now have penalties. So Viper Z, he's got 3 cars ahead of him, all with penalties. Wow, including himself. So just crazy, crazy racing back here. Jono Stan got taken out as well. Yeah, just unnecessary. With 11 laps, you know, it's crazy to sort of have battles like that. Really no need for it. So as I said, it's all about working together. As you can see, we just all sort of slipstream each other. The whole top 5, because of all the battles going on. 6 fell back a bit too far. I was not really able to catch back up. So I'm already way further up than I had expected. I'm making a few little mistakes here and there, but it's just still doing enough to sort of hold on here. We're all just sort of working together. So once you've got that little bit of slipstream, it's with that amount of coil, she's doing about 274. I'm doing 10 k's an hour more at that point. Not sure why she brakes a bit earlier than I do here, but still pushes me, which sends me wide. Just a bit. Again, it's something that doesn't need to happen on lap 3 of an 11 lap race. You're never gonna technically run away with a race here because you're not able to drive quick enough. So I was a bit disappointed having that sort of an incident there, which sort of shook me up a little bit. So I make a few more mistakes on this lap. One you'll see coming up into the hairpin, which I'm very thankful it didn't end up being a lot worse than what it was. My mistake almost cost Pure Axel here a chance at battling for the race. I was just a little bit too... actually, it may not be this one. But I was in a spot where I just didn't see... I couldn't read the sign, the marking sign. And I just broke way too late and smashed into him there. But I just waited. No point in trying to hold a position. But I did notice a lot of cars going into that hairpin, scrubbing their car against the left side wall so they could slow down quicker. Which probably wouldn't have been a bad idea had I had known that's what they were doing earlier. But now we've dropped back. We're about 1.5 seconds behind here. So just got to try and play catch up because there is no one close to us behind. Simonizer's way back. So my goal here is to catch up. Emriri has now been able to pull out a bit of a gap. But thankfully, because the battle going on ahead of me, I can pull back up onto them, but not close enough to really have much of a battle right now. They're closer to each other, so their slipstream's better. But I will spend the next few laps just trying my hardest to bridge the gap, get as close as I can so I can try and battle with them. I learnt my lesson after the previous lap, so I start braking earlier and just making sure I can get the car slowed down. By now, Emriri's out to approximately 2.5–3 seconds lead on us. So I managed to come up onto them down the straight, but then through these corners, I start to feel like I'm getting a bit held up by Wild Panther. Not necessarily through these bits here, but down the straight, it just doesn't seem to help me all too much. Because ideally, I'd like to be, up with Pure Axel and Keaton, sort of working with them and battling with them. Try and catch up to Emily up the front. Let's have a look how tyres are still good. So we're now about 6 seconds ahead of 6th place. So I'm already quite comfortable where I am. You can see here like how I barely made up any space on 4th place at all there. You know, if the car ahead of you is even a tenth of a second closer to the vehicle in front of him than you are to the back of his car, they get a much stronger pull from the slipstream than you do. So yeah, it was playing catch up here. You can just see all these little sections where I'm managing the catch up. He's scraping the wall. We've got a little bit closer. We're on for a reasonable lap here too, so you can see how easily 4th place pulled away from me in that first half of that straight. And it's only when we get to the top speed that he's sort of topping out at 290 and I'm overtaking him at 296, 297. But I'm not close enough to make a pass. So I just, once again, have to sort of settle down, sit in where I am. I could have gone for an overtake there, but it's just not worth trying to get involved in that, because we want to catch up to the guys ahead. We don't want to sit there battling each other too much for 4th place, because 2nd and 3rd have now pulled out a small gap, so we really need to try and reel them back in. Got a little bit sideways. So there was a little kink after the hairpin there, which cost me a bit of time again. So I've already started to realise that I need if I'm going to have much of a chance, I really need to exit that hairpin a lot closer to the rear of these cars than what I have been. Otherwise, they just keep pulling away, keeping me at, you know, about 8 to 9 tenths gap behind them. What's going on back here? So we see Kiz now worked his way back up to 8th after getting spun around by Tankmaster on lap 1. So he's driving quite well there. Still not close enough. But as second and third pull a little bit of a gap on Wild Panther, it gives me the opportunity to actually try and get past him shortly. I can't remember if it's this lap or the following lap, but coming down under the second bridge down here, Wild Panther has a bit of an issue on the exit, and I just have to take my opportunity so I'm not stuck behind him again. So I get a clean pass there, no rubbing, no issues. Unfortunately, it's probably too little too late, because the two ahead have managed to reel in Emily up the front, but Keaton in second has managed to pull away for pure axle. I am close enough to try and go for a pass on him. But probably a little too close. Ideally, I should have lifted off the throttle a bit and stayed behind him for longer. I try to brake as late as I can here, so I can try and hold that position, but okay, there's not a lot of, you don't want to do too much, because by now we're about 7 tenths ahead of Wild Panther, which means that I don't have to worry about battling him, I don't have to defend, I just have to worry about what's going on ahead of me at the moment. See what's going on back here. Kiz has done well, he's managed to pull away. I skipped back a bit then. Now, I passed him a little tiny bit later this time, but we've also got Wild Panther a bit closer. So, try to break Pure Axel's toe a little tiny bit here, in the hope that we're going to come up to the first corner and I'll be able to take the inside line. And then I thought Wild Panther might bump draft me, but he chose to there, so had to sort of give up the position. I tried to hold into the inside as long as I could there, but as you can see, I didn't try and take the pass off a push on him. I had to give him the space. I don't really race with a whatever it takes attitude. If he's done nothing wrong, I'm not, and I bump him due to my own mistake, I'm not going to take that position from him. As you can see, we've got Wild Panther all over the back of us here. Now, the last 2 laps, I've been paying attention to where I've been overtaking Pure Axel in regards to the start-finish line. So I know I really need to get a good drive out of the hairpin here and be a lot closer in order to try and challenge. Now he goes a little deep, which allows me to move up on him a little bit closer, and then he goes through there, and we're good. We're sitting at about 2/10 off the back of him now, not 5 or 6. Now it worked out perfectly. Managed to be just close enough to be able to get that win over him. And as you can see, Keaton managed to catch up and get past Emily. Yeah, some very questionable racing in the back of the packs. It's unfortunate. Anyway, thank you for watching that. If you did, just thought I would catalogue it. So if people wanted to watch, they could. Thank you.